Hey, it's Samantha Hartley of the Profitable Joyful Consulting Podcast. This is season 6. We're talking about management consulting. And today specifically, I want to talk about thought leadership. Now, this is kind of a controversial term because some people think it sounds a bit too 1984, mind control. But what I really love about it is, these two words, thought and then leadership. You're leading the thoughts of your target audience. You're helping them see the future, new ideas around the work that you do. Thought leadership and basically getting out there and striving to become a thought leader is an amazing way to build your brand. It will shorten the sales cycle for you because the people who find that information that you've put out there, your communications, they will identify, wow, this is a forward thinker. This is an innovator. And then they'll seek you out. And the people who have already found you and are kind of doing a little digging to find out more from you, they will be impressed by the body of work that you have out there. Even if you only have a few pieces, you are putting out your ideas and you seem influential. And we all want to be able to influence the thoughts and ideas in our industry, and particularly for your perfect clients. So this to me is a super important topic, and it, especially in the area of management consulting, it can really, really establish you in your industry and in your niche. So what is thought leadership exactly? Well, to me, it's a lot about new ideas, having a perspective on what's going on in your industry. So you may have completely brand new ideas that no one's ever seen before, or you may be reacting to what the market has, and you are bringing new opinions, perspectives, and insights into the market. I think it's really important that people hear from you in anything that you put out there. They want to hear insights. Specifically, I want to read something from you that I haven't seen anywhere else before. Again, a completely new idea, or I've never heard anybody say that thing that way. So maybe you make it clearer than anyone else has said it. Or, and this I think is really important, or you say it in a way that is most relevant to your people, in a way they've never quite heard this to them. So maybe you have a point of view that you need to make relevant to them, and they think, oh, I've never really thought about that as being something for us, but now that they've said it that way, it makes sense. So saying things first, saying it better than anyone else has ever said it, or saying it in a really relevant way, to me, this is a way that you can become a thought leader. The key piece to me in this is that you need to have a unique point of view. Right? If you're a leader, it means you are in the industry, you're ahead of others in a certain way or a certain area, and there are followers behind you. It means there are people who want to hear you say your thing in your unique way. So that point of view is really important. And an easy way to me to develop a point of view, again, you may have just completely innovative ideas that nobody's ever heard before. And I think that's pretty unique. What's more common is you have some ideas, but you're not really sure what you think. So here's what I recommend. What do other people in your industry believe? If you start to go out there and look at those other ideas, then suddenly you're like, oh, well, that I don't agree with. This I completely agree with, and they could even take this further, etc. Right? So you begin, in relationship to other people's ideas, you begin to have reactions to them, and your people want to hear that from you. We don't want to read every single person in the entire industry. There's a reason you have followers. They have aligned with you, something about you, your energy, your thoughts, your perspectives, the way you look, the way you act. You have followers for a reason, and they want to hear it from you. So very often when people say, I feel like everything about this stuff has already been written or it's already been said, just remember, go get that information and then tell us your version of it, because that's what your people care about, your version of that same information. And telling that consistently and clearly and in a way that's relevant to them, that's a great way for you to become a thought leader in your industry. So a little more on how do I become a thought leader? Well, I've talked before in the past about having a manifesto, and I feel like this is a written paper that maybe even be an internal document in the beginning, but you need to say and affirm for yourself, these are the beliefs that I hold to be self-evident. Like, I think this stuff is obvious. For example, one of mine is we need to work sustainable hours. I don't believe in hustle and grind because it's not sustainable. I don't think you can do that and get your best results. So that's a reaction to something that's very popular in my industry, which is go, go, go all the time. So things that are in my manifesto can be my original ideas, and they can also be reactions to what other people have said. And the other thing I mentioned is taking an idea that someone else had and taking it even further. So in my manifesto, I would write things like, we work exclusively with perfect clients. We work in this sustainable way. You want to make transformational offers. You want to work long-term and in transformational ways with your clients rather than on short-term one-offs, etc. So those are the beliefs, and those are the things that are absolutely not brand new ideas in our industry, but those are ideas that I have collected and that I believe in, and I would put in my manifesto. So what's your version of that? What would you write in your manifesto that relative to your clients and your work, you think, well, first of all, we always do this, or we never do this, or this is the way to do this, which is, I believe, is the right way to do it. Okay, so get those truths in your manifesto, because that'll be things that you can refer to later when you're writing or communicating or acting and living your values. The second thing, as I mentioned, you want to engage in your industry. So you want to know who are the leaders. You want to be seen on panels and in communication with them. People want to see that you have a peer group and you are a part of something, because that's a way to generate more followers. So again, even if you have 75 people on your email list, you have followers. You have people who are interested in your perspective. So you want to create content for them, create things to share with them that express your point of view. Why? Because they're wanting to be influenced by you. They're there to be led. We call them followers. They're there to be led to the next thing. We also have servant leaders. So by no means think that this is about abusing those people. It's serving them the thing that is in their highest good to help them get the solutions that they're looking for. One of the things I think about thought leadership is it's benevolence. It's about influencing and leaving a legacy and making a difference in the lives of people. So definitely you want to engage in your industry and be seen as one of them so that you can influence the people in that industry. You want to stand with and yet out, right? I stand together with others who are teaching consultants how to have better businesses. There are other people who are out there doing them, other people serving my audience who maybe do things a little differently, or do something completely differently, like they do different services or offer products. They're within this industry. And so I want you to think about who you would stand with, like who is the peer group, who's on the Zoom panel. If you do a big panel discussion about your industry, maybe you organize that panel discussion about your industry. So who would you bring together? And then who are those followers who are like watching you and watching the others? You'll notice that they follow more than one person. And this has always been an interesting thing to me in like joint ventures. You might feel some scarcity around, like, oh, that's my competitor. Very often you'll find people who are buying from you have also bought from someone else who does almost the same thing as you, or will buy from someone else in the future. That's just kind of an interesting thing about industries and the way people want to learn and they want to grow and change their business, is they'll partake in that total industry. You are served when you can communicate clearly what you believe and how you're different from the others around you. So last thing, and I've been alluding to this, communicate. You want to communicate your unique point of view. And how do we do that? Well, all of the communication channels that we've ever talked about in content marketing. So yes to social media and press. Like this is, thought leadership belongs in media. So this is articles that you write in leading magazines and in newspapers and on television and leading podcasts. All of those places where big ideas belong, that's where you're going to put your content, anything that you communicate. And I also mentioned before, kind of like activities, like you want to live these ideas as well. So the activities that you engage in and that you kind of publicly share, you want to make sure that those things align with the thoughts that you are espousing. So these are the beliefs, these are the values, these are the truths. When you get those out there, what are all the possible ways that you could communicate them? Can you, again, I talked about a panel discussion, but could you organize an event, a festival, a world something day? Think big. about your ideas, because thought leaders are thinking big, right? They're doing things on a huge level to change the world. Now, what I like about this is, as entrepreneurs, often we have to be so practical about almost everything I do is like revenue generating. So is thought leadership directly revenue generating? It seems like it isn't, but visibility brings people to you and is one of our listed revenue generation activities. So being visible in social media or classic media or on podcasts or in newspapers or in your community, out and about, literally in person in your community, well, that's visibility, and that leads to revenue. So yes, that would be a yes on that kind of thought leadership and visibility. Thought leadership also appears in all of your content marketing channels, which are revenue generating channels. And as I mentioned in the beginning, thought leadership builds your brand and it builds the value of the brand. Now that's not an immediately like leads one-to-one to new revenues, but what it does is increases your visibility, memorability. It shortens your sales cycle. It brings you perfect clients. It helps you get referred to other perfect clients. Like, building your brand is necessarily a thing that is going to bring more revenue to your business. So we have immediate revenue sources here from thought leadership, and we have eventual but very powerful revenue sources from thought leadership. So it's definitely a thing that is worth your time. It isn't a replacement to all the things you're doing. It is the essence of it. So if you are doing content marketing, the content you're creating is intended to be thought leadership content. And so that means instead of, just telling stories or just writing direct response of like, here's the thing that I want to make happen, it means that sometimes you are acting with the intention to influence on a bigger level, to change things in the lives of your clients. And that you are doing this with the intention of standing out from amongst all of the other people who are doing this. So it's really thinking about what you're doing on a bigger level, the intention of which is to make a bigger difference. And I know that you, like many of my clients, you think big about your brand. These are, my clients want to change the world. And I've always said that they think big. And that's why I love to work with them. And a lot of times that's what they come to me for, is because I take them seriously when they think big and maybe say something that's audacious. So my client Cheryl, for example, has always been moved by seeing workers in factories and the kind of clients that she works with. A lot of them are manufacturing. And she saw once a forklift driver who was doing the same thing over and over again and kind of repeating things. And she felt like she could make his life better with one of her processes, which eliminated repeated work. And the quality of the life of that worker changed, and they in this situation, his job became more meaningful. So that's the kind of thing that propels her to do her work in the world. And she is a thought leader in that industry. She's talking about things that no one else is talking about, like love. And having love in the marketplace and having that drive the actions that you do. She also talks about a lot of bringing simple concepts into the work that we do, like giving feedback properly and acknowledging people. So that's where I see thought leadership in her work. My other client, Tim, is an IT consultant. And how is he a thought leader? Well, he is looking at experiences that he has, such as a flight he had on JetBlue, and saying, I can discern from the experience that I had what's going on behind the scenes at this employer. And while he's telling that story in that one situation, I also know that his intention with his IT projects, which might seem like it's helping these companies to have their machines run better, it is. And by machines, I mean processes and systems and software and things like that. Yes, that is happening as a result of his work, but his real intention is that the workers and employees who are served by those systems get paid on time, don't have to have manual processes happen, don't have things fall through the cracks and end up getting paid late because the processes didn't work. So he's also very people-oriented. And I think when we focus our work on making a difference for the individual, and like, I want to make things better for that person in that job instead of necessarily for clients who are big companies. Not that I don't want things to be good for them, but I want things to be good for the people in the companies. And that to me is where you can really make a difference. And I may just be communicating my my own perspective and my own thoughts about that, but I wonder what your perspective is on that. In your work going forward, I want you to think, what do I want to be known for? That's your brand, right? What do I want to be known for? What is my unique perspective on that? What am I saying that I don't see anybody else saying this? What do you want to change or influence? And turn that into a plan. Make that into a plan that you're executing every single week. I believe you are a thought leader. I believe you have unique ideas and perspectives and insights that your followers, your potential clients, those they serve, the people who are interested in you, your colleagues and peers, they want to hear that unique perspective. And I encourage you to get that out of yourself and to create more content that shares not just how you can help and serve in your solutions, but it also shares the ways in which you want to change things in your industry and change things for your clients. And with that, I am wishing you a profitable and joyful consulting business. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell to get video updates. Thanks.